Good afternoon to you and happy Friday. How are you doing? Hello, greetings to you. 30th of July. Where did that month go? So quickly. How are we doing today? Thank you for joining. Hello. Give me a wave. Do say hello. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know where you are. Hello. Just a few more people joining. Nice to see you. Welcome to you. Happy Friday. How are we all doing today? Greetings from Dubai. Tell me where in the world you are. Do let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a wave. Hello to you. Thank you for joining. Do tell me, how is your family? How's your business? How's your team? How are things where you are? I hear that you have been having crazy weather in the UK. For those of you that are joining from the UK, thunderstorms and huge rainstorms. Hope that you are all okay. A client of mine completely lost all of their electricity this morning. So I hear you've been having some crazy times. We are continuing to bake here in Dubai. We've got temperatures well into the 40s. Do you know what? It's kind of weird. It's lovely. It's absolutely lovely to have the sunshine, but you can't really do anything. And I'm missing the green a little bit. I must confess. It was also my birthday last Sunday. Thank you so much for all of your messages. I really do appreciate each and every one of you, and for taking the time to send me a message. I really do appreciate it. I've had a bit of an up and down week, I'm not going to lie. I've been missing family and friends a lot this week, so thank you for all of the love that you have been sending my way. It is very much appreciated. So tell me, how are you doing? What have you been working on this week? Has it been a good one? Thank you to all of you who have been referring friends and colleagues to me. Some people have been referring one-on-one coaching clients to me, or also picked up some work with people's teams as well, which has been great. And some interviews for my book. I really appreciate all of the referrals that you're giving me and that you're sending me. Several really great interviews this week. I'm really excited to get them transcribed and pull out all of those gems to add to my manuscript. So thank you so much to those of you that have taken the time to be interviewed or refer people to me to interview for my second book. Lots of new joiners to this community. Welcome to each and every one of you. I'm really passionate about serving you and giving you lots of great value, not just in these weekly lives from wherever I am in the world, but also we have our Ask Me Anything slots, which are 3 p.m. UK time every Monday. So please feel free to post your challenges, your questions into this group. Oh, I've got a bit of a frog in my throat. Oh, you know when you just get you get something in the back of your throat and you can't quite. Whew. I'm fine. I just have a frog in my throat. I'm just waiting for the frog to go away. So please feel free to post your questions or your challenges into this group. Do let me know where you're stuck or what questions you have. Still a bit croaky, not sure what's going on. I really hope that you and your business are thriving, but if you're not, then that is okay. Please do let me know what support you need. I do want you to know that you are not alone on your journey, despite the frog in my throat. I can see also that several of you have booked in a clarity call for next week. I'm really looking forward to speaking with you. If you would like to get past your blockers, take that next step in your business, book in a call with me and let's get you a good dose of clarity. I make sure that I have a few slots each week that I make available for those clarity calls. So do grab yours now. You can find the link in the pinned post at the top of this group. Hopefully my frog has disappeared from my throat. Welcome to you. Hello. Do give me a wave. Say hello. Tell me how you're doing and where you are watching from. So I've chit-chatted a bit. I think it's probably time that we got going. What do you think? Welcome to my weekly live at 12 noon UK time every Friday, where we talk about how you can simplify, grow and enjoy your business. Whether you're just starting out or you're several years in, whether you want to build a nice lifestyle business or you're chasing world domination, I am here to support your journey. Last week we were looking at managing your customers. We were talking about how to set expectations with your customers and how to deal with them when and if they become tricky. I shared some tips with you on how to get boundaries established to help you manage those relationships. And if you didn't get a chance to join me to talk about managing your customers last week, you can find a recording in this group. All of my lives are organised into guides. We have Simplify, we have Grow, and we have Enjoy Your Business. So if you are feeling overwhelmed or stretched too thin, if you're not quite sure what to focus on or how to get organised, then you need to head to the Simplify Your Business guide, which has loads of hints and tips on how to make life easier for yourself, how to organise your time, and how to really focus on what's important. Then, of course, there's the Grow Your Business guide, which is all about client acquisition, scaling and managing people. So if that's what you are tackling right now, then that's definitely the place for you to find some support. And finally, we have Enjoy Your Business, which focuses on you and your role and how to ensure that the business that you're building continues to delight and inspire you. What we really don't want is you falling out of love with your business. Everything that I do, all of my work falls into one or more of these three categories: simplify, grow, or enjoy, so that you can easily find the support that you need. Everything is organised into those three guides in this group. So please do check out the guides in this community. I want you to be able to simplify, grow, and enjoy your business. Of course I do, but you will know individually which one is needed for you in terms of the challenges that you're facing right now. As you know, I tend to take my cues from you in terms of what would be helpful for me to cover during these lives. Sometimes maybe I read about something or I reflect on a past experience, and I'll take those learnings and I will share with you all. Sometimes I share things from my book and what I'm working with my clients on, but most often these lives are inspired by conversations, questions and requests that I get from all of you from this wonderful community. So do let me know, where are you stuck? What questions do you have? What challenges are you facing? So today's live has been inspired by a new customer that I've started working with over the past couple of weeks. Today we are talking about dealing with mistakes. It happens to the best of us, right? Despite our best intention, we never really get everything right. And once we start building a team, well, they're only human too. So mistakes are a natural part of running a business for sure. But when it's your business, then when mistakes happen, it can feel a bit like the end of the world. I certainly know what that feels like. So how do you deal with those feelings of failure? How do you avoid making your people feel worse than they already do when they make a mistake? How do you ensure that mistakes don't get repeated? As always, today's live is practical and it's simple, and it's designed to give you some things to think about, but also some actions that you can take right away. So hopefully that sounds good. Shall we get started? So in many businesses, I find that mistakes are kind of whispered about, they're kind of stigmatized, if you like, almost they're treated as kind of defects. And they are associated in some businesses with embarrassment or even fear. And what happens in those businesses is that blaming becomes almost an automatic response. And taking responsibility is simply not an option because we're all too frightened that we're going to be blamed. And in these organisations, when this happens, there's a lack of clarity around who is really responsible for what. Roles and responsibilities are often very blurry. And there's also, I'm afraid, a bit of a lack of commitment to excellence. So when you see lots of mistakes happening, or when you see mistakes not really being acknowledged, it's often because there's this lack of clarity, but also nobody's really willing to commit to true excellence. And not only do these organisations not prioritise people taking initiative or learning, they also don't celebrate their successes. They're too busy delivering for their customers. We all want to do that. They're too busy moving on to the same project as soon as they finish the current one. And they're too busy sort of firefighting all the myriad actions, issues and decisions required every day in all of our small businesses. And so what happens in these businesses is that they develop a bit of a tendency to tolerate mediocre people. And they can, if you're not careful, become really toxic places to work. Because what happens is they repeat mistakes over and over. They lose customers, they lose team members, and they risk stagnation or even closure. And if you're in one of those businesses, it can feel, as I say, really, really toxic. Nothing is being learned. You're just doomed to repeat the same mistakes. Running a small business can feel a bit like walking on a tightrope, right? That gap between not enough customers and too many customers can be quite wafer thin, but yet it makes all of the difference to you and to your team and to the bottom line. 1 minute you're worrying that you've hired too many people, and the next minute you're worried that you haven't got enough people. And it's all hands to the pump, right? So either you're like, can I afford to pay all of these people? And the next minute it's like, oh my God, we've got so much work on. However hard you try, mistakes are a fact of life. We all make them, and so do the businesses that we run and the people who work in them. Many entrepreneurs will tell you that mistakes are unpredictable and unavoidable, and still your customers expect a predictable and consistent service every time they deal with you. So many of you will be familiar with the concept of the comfort zone, right? That place where we feel safe, things are recognisable, we know where we are and we know what we're doing. And as entrepreneurs and business owners, we don't necessarily spend a lot of time there, right? Tell me I'm wrong. We don't spend a lot of time in our comfort zone. We tend to like to push those boundaries and try out new things. We want to grow, we want to take on more customers, we want to create new products, and we want to make more money, and we want to add more value. Now, beyond that comfort zone is something called the growth zone, and it exists for organisations as well as for people. This is where questions get asked, this is where learning and progression happens, but also this is where there's increased risk and mistakes are more likely. This is where many entrepreneurs feel very comfortable, right, in that growth zone. They feel very comfortable on a personal level. They're pushing themselves, they're moving forward, but in organisational, if you look at organisations and in organisational terms, it can be difficult for many entrepreneurs to accept that same level of uncertainty that comes from other people taking risks with their business, trying new things and learning from mistakes. So you might feel very comfortable kind of pushing the boundaries and trying out things, but what happens when that's people that are working in your business with your customers? And what I see happening a lot is that urge to jump in and save the day can be quite overwhelming for many, many business owners. And what that means, unfortunately, is that all the knowledge and the experience stays with the entrepreneur and the business owner, and mistakes by other people keep happening. And this is what I see happen a lot is business owners find it really, really difficult to let go, but they also tell me that their people are not good enough. They also tell me that their people are not learning fast enough. And my answer is always, are you letting your people have the space to make mistakes? And I know that is really hard, and I find that hard in my own business, right? It's all about balance, though, of course. If we push through the growth zone too far, then we get to something that's called the shock zone. And that's when it all gets far too much and our brain starts shutting down to protect us. And for an organisation, what this means is parts of the business just going into meltdown, systems not working, orders not being delivered, and conflicts rising to the surface amongst your people. And so it's all about getting a balance, right? You want to be in the growth, you want to encourage your people to be in that growth zone, but you don't as an organisation want to go out into the shock zone. So from a learning perspective, for individuals as well as for organisations, the age-old saying that comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there. This continues to ring true, both for people and for organisations. And so to get the best out of ourselves and our teams, we need to push outside of that space where everything is easy, the status quo, the comforting path, right, the easy road, by allowing your people to explore the art of the possible. Learning and improvements can be made, and they will get better. An organisation's ability to learn will set it apart from its competitors and make it more resilient. Customers expect and they deserve consistent, reliable and high quality delivery of your products and services every single time, right? Every time they do business with you, that's what they're looking for, that high quality and that consistency. And of course, that doesn't happen without a lot of hard work. Many of us have a challenging relationship with feedback and with failure. As students, we sat exams and generally received a pass, good, or fail, bad, mark. But businesses don't really work like that, do they? You know, sometimes we get lucky, but it's usually by trying things out that we learn what our customers want and how best to deliver it to them. So you need to change your relationship with this word failure and feedback. Yeah, failure is just feedback, and we need feedback. We need feedback from our market, we need feedback from our customers, we need feedback from our teams. And so this kind of pass-fail thing really doesn't work when you're running your own business. It helps not to take things personally, of course. What you do is not who you are. What I'd like to do is I'd like to help you with this by sharing 2 tools with you. The first one is quick and simple, and the second one is a bit more in-depth. Okay. So the first one is what I like to call the continuous improvement tool. And this is a very, very simple mechanism, if you like, that I suggest that you implement into your business. And so at the end of every meeting, at the end of every project, at the end of every campaign, at the end of every event, maybe product launch, service launch, at the end of every kind of milestone in your business, ask each member of your team, including yourself, to answer just 3 simple questions, and get in the habit of doing this, as I say, after every meeting, after every milestone, after every sort of significant thing that you've achieved and put out there. Just get in the habit of asking these 3 questions. What does this meeting, project, campaign, launch or event, what does it score out of 10? No context around that. What would you score it out of 10? What would your people score it out of 10? That's question number 1. Question number 2, what did we do well? Think about what went well. What went well about that launch? What went well about that customer delivery? What went well about that event? What went well about that campaign? And number 3, what would we do differently next time? And I think that's a great question, because it helps you moving forward. It helps you avoid negativity. It helps you get stuck in, oh my God, we made a mistake. Oh my God, it wasn't as good as we hoped it would be. What would we do differently next time? It also helps you understand how your team feel about what you've achieved together, and it encourages this mindset of continuous improvement. And that is so important. You want your people continually, and yourself, to continually be thinking about what can we do better next time, not beating ourselves up and flagellating ourselves for the past, but learning from that. What did we do well? So what do we want to continue doing? But what could we do differently next time? And how would we score that out of 10? And as you start to track that, so for example, if you're doing this after your meetings, you can start to see what you are improving and see those scores hopefully rising. So that's my first tool. That's a very simple tool that you can just get in the habit of using, even with yourself, even if it's just you in your business at the end of every week. What's gone well this week? What's gone well about this campaign? What's gone well about this launch? And what could we do differently next time? Okay, so my second tool is it's to be used for a much more systematic look at your business and its ability to learn. So this one's a bit more in depth. It's to be used to uncover mistakes and also to help you create that culture of learning that you want in your businesses. I call this one the Embracing Mistakes tool, and I suggest that you use it quarterly. And as your business grows, you make it part of each new team or each new function that forms as your business scales. For example, if you're building a sales team or a tech team, you could hold a regular review with the team to look at what's gone well and what could be improved. So this is something that you can use as your business grows. And as I say, I suggest that you use it quarterly, but you could use it more often if you prefer. So this tool has 6 steps. Step number 1, identify. So the first step, of course, in embracing mistakes is to identify them. Look at where processes are breaking down, look at overlapping tasks, where more than one person is trying to do the same thing, perhaps maybe coming from a different angle. I see that a lot in fast-growing businesses. All customer complaints must be looked at really carefully to understand what went wrong and why, and also how they can be prevented from happening again, after, of course, you've responded to the customer who complained, of course. So ask yourself, what can be identified as a mistake? What could the business or team have done better? And those questions that I just shared with you in that continuous improvement tool are a great lead-in, a great segue to this more in-depth look. So you could capture your team and your own comment in terms of what did we do well, but specifically what could we do better, and then you could review it using this process on a regular basis. So once you've identified those things that we could have done better, what mistakes can we identify? You're actively looking for mistakes, right? Now that might sound weird, but hopefully that will become clear. You want to find the mistakes before the customers do. Number 2, embrace. So before you go about fixing things, especially when you're proactively finding stuff, of course, if a customer's complained, then the first thing you have to do is fix it. But if you proactively find problems and find mistakes, before you go about fixing them, it's a good idea to recognize the value of finding the mistake. What you want to do is create a culture of openness and trust. And so you need to make it a good thing. You need to make it a good thing to identify mistakes. You need to celebrate the finding of the mistakes. Why is it a good thing to have found and recognized the mistake? Ask that question. What have we avoided? Why is it a good thing? Why should we be celebrating that we found this mistake? Thank goodness we found it now before a customer did. Who in your team gets the credit for openness and honesty? You want to actually encourage people to open up and actually not only find mistakes, but admit mistakes. How can we reward them? Yeah, so this is so important. This step 2, embrace the mistakes, embrace the honesty, embrace the openness. It's the only way that you will encourage people to find things. Otherwise, they will bury them and you won't find out about them until a customer calls you up. Okay, number 3, record. So make a record of each mistake, because that increases awareness and it makes it much less likely to reoccur. So you must write it down. You must have some sort of a log. You must have some sort of a record to increase that awareness and show your people that it's okay that you're actually looking for these things and you want to record them. What exactly happened or didn't happen? That's what you want to record, right? Okay. Step number 4, diagnose. So now most people go straight to this step, yeah? So it's really, really important that you identify and embrace and record before you go to diagnose. So this is really important. This is where you work out what went wrong. It's really, really, really super important to emphasize that this step is not to be used as an excuse to blame anybody, but instead it needs to be approached as an opportunity to learn. So what you want to be doing here is encouraging constructive feedback and challenge. Yeah, you want to be encouraging out of the box thinking. Why did this mistake occur? Like really, not pointing fingers, but really, why did this happen? Maybe somebody was overloaded. Maybe there weren't proper checks and balances in place. Maybe your people have not been encouraged to ask for help, yeah? So why did this mistake occur? What process broke down? What was missed? Do you need a control in there? Do you need a check? Yeah, this happens so much, particularly in fast-growing organisations. It's really important just to be able to have an honest conversation about, do you know what, I dropped the ball, yeah, and I dropped the ball, and okay, so how can we help you not drop the ball next time? How could we have found this out earlier? Yeah, what control could we have had in place to find this out earlier and to give you some support earlier? And by the way, please ask for help. Okay, so number 5, learn. This is the step where you look at what can be learned from the mistake, yeah? So this is really important. So you've diagnosed the problem, like what happened, what went wrong, and now you're doing the bit about how do we prevent this happening again? Yeah, what can we do differently? Who needs support, as I just said? What needs to change? What can be improved? How can we do this differently next time? And you're really encouraging people to be honest about this, yeah? To be really honest about how, and don't let people get away with like, oh, sorry, it won't happen again. No. Why did it happen? Yeah, why did it happen? Let's really understand it. What do we need to do? Do we need to give you some support? Do we need to take some stuff off your plate? Like, what's going on? Like, really learn from it. And then number 6 is the holy grail of a learning organisation, and that is prevent. This is where the team gets to improve how they do things and, crucially, ensure that the same mistake is not repeated. How can this be stopped from happening next time? And this is really the most important thing. I always say to my clients, mistakes are great. You want mistakes. You want to embrace mistakes. You want to welcome mistakes. You do not want to be making the same mistake twice. And this is what will help you avoid making the same mistake twice. So, my 6 steps for embracing mistakes. Identify the mistake, embrace the openness and honesty of how it came to light, celebrate it. Number 3, record what happened. Number 4, diagnose the problem. Number 4, diagnose the problem. Number 5, learn. And number 6, prevent. So what do you think? What's resonating most with you? What questions do you have about dealing with mistakes? Do let me know in the comments. One thing I will say is that as entrepreneurs and business owners, many of us have very, very high standards, and so it can be really, really difficult not to beat yourself up when mistakes happen. And it is really important. When I say avoid spreading blame around, I don't just mean to your people, I mean to yourself, yeah? So you've got a lot on your plate, you're dealing with a lot, you're juggling a lot. Mistakes are going to happen. The important thing, as I say, is to learn from them and to prevent them happening again. But don't give yourself a hard time. It's completely counterproductive. Be kind to yourself. So what is your next step in life and in business? What do you need to make you more confident? Do book in a clarity call with me and let's get you moving past whatever is blocking your progress and on to that next challenge. Before I close up today, I want to give you some next steps, some concrete things that I suggest you do as a result of today's live. So firstly, when you think about your business, what mistakes do you see? If you're really honest with yourself, what mistakes do you see that are already happening, but what mistakes do you see that are on the way to happening? And then the next step is, what can you do to avoid them happening or happening again? Yeah, it's important to ask yourself that question. Don't just expect yourself to be Superman or Superwoman. It's just just the way that you'll burn yourself out. Yeah. So have an honest conversation with yourself or with me, right? What if you're making mistakes because you're trying to do too much? Then we need to change that. If you're making mistakes because you're expecting too much of yourself, then we need to change that. We need to get you some help, or we need to reset your expectations. Don't just keep on trying to power through. That is the road to burnout, my friend. And thirdly, you know what's coming. Take some action, put in place some mechanisms to avoid making those same mistakes again. But don't forget to reward and celebrate the finding of them. Encourage openness in your team. And if you don't have a team, give me a call and let's talk through it. Please do let me know how you get on with this. Do let me know if you need any support or if you want to talk things through with me. I'm going to close up today's live, as I always do, with 2 quotes. And today my quotes are about dealing with mistakes. So my first quote is from the American philosopher Albert Hubbard. The greatest mistake a man or woman can ever make is to be afraid of making one. And my second quote is from the great Italian actress Sophia Loren. Mistakes are part of the dues that one pays for a full life. I love that. So how do you deal with mistakes? Do you embrace them or do you use them as a stick to beat yourself with? Let's get you in the driving seat of your business and building intentionally towards what you want. Decide what is really important to you and to your business and then stick to it consistently. Building a business is hard. I say that to you every week. It really is tough. It can be a really long, hard road. And so please make sure that you are building something that is truly meaningful for you, that will sustain you through those tough times. Be intentional. Say no to things and to people that don't serve you and the goal that you want to achieve. And as I pass back over to you, as I do every Friday, that is really what I want you to take from today. What is the outcome that you are seeking? What is the result? What is the goal that you really want? Put your energy into getting really clear about that, but please allow yourself to do things your way. Yes, of course, you can learn from me, you can learn from other people, but you need to take all of that learning inside and synthesize it all, and then what comes out must be congruent with you. It must work for you. You must do things your way. If you want to build a huge multinational conglomerate, then fantastic. How can I help? But if you just want to do your thing, then that's okay too, and I'd love to help you with that also. Focus on listening to yourself and ask yourself, what do you need so that you can spend more time in your flow? And don't forget that the opposite of flow is friction. And so if things aren't really working, then take a step back and focus on getting some clarity. Get some objective input, hire the services of a business coach, take some time to look at what you're doing and where an easier path would start from and lead you to. Ask yourself, what would a business that really works for me look like? Do let me know your thoughts and questions on this or any other topic relating to how to simplify, grow and enjoy your business. What area of business would you like me to speak about next? Do let me know. Also, who do you know that could benefit from joining this community or from having a conversation with me? If you haven't already claimed your free copy of my first book, The Real Entrepreneur, you can check out therealentrepreneur.book.com. And if you prefer Audible or Kindle, then you can find those on Amazon. Do check out the resilience section of my book for much more on dealing with mistakes. Get the foundations right and then we can build from there. I really hope that you have a lovely weekend, whatever you're doing and whoever you're doing it with. I do wish you a really happy and peaceful time. And as always, if you want to talk, then you know where I am. Please remember to be where you are in the journey. You don't need to know it all and you definitely don't have to do it all. Do take care, stay safe and keep in touch. Bye for now. Have a lovely weekend.